Matey, it be me, the captain of the worst, back with even more salty, sinister shit bombs of sinking ships. Today we're going to talk about possibly the worst movie that I've seen yet. I know I say that about every movie that I watch because all of them are bad, but this one takes the biscuit. Yeah, I mean, it's not so much that it's bad, it's that I just wasn't really very interested in it the whole time, as you can tell from my shaking ship of sinking shitstorms. And we're talking about the movie Gods of the Deep, which I could tell they tried very hard, but I mean, they just like I almost feel like they didn't really have the budget to really make a movie like that. And the big problem that I had with it, the big problem it had, period, was that um, I just wasn't really very interested in it for the whole movie. And it also just wasn't really very scary at all. And it also I hate to tell y'all this, but an actor's trailer with the interior covered in PVC pipe and tinfoil. That's not what the interior of a submarine looks like. Miskatonic University is actually not in England; it's in Maine, and it's not anywhere near the coast. I don't think. I don't know. I haven't seen a Lovecraft map in so long. I don't really know where exactly it is in Maine, but I know it's in Maine, not Southern California labeled as England, or Porton Down, or wherever it is they found us at. But yeah, like it wasn't awful, but it just functionally wasn't really very interesting to me, like at all. It was boring. It was boring. Period. It was one of those movies that isn't on the whole totally awful, but it was boring. And also the monster, just I mean, I've read almost every Lovecraft story in his whole body of work, so I knew very, very quickly how this was going to go before the movie even really even started. The moment I saw the word Miskatonic, I knew how it was going to go. And so perhaps I'm not the best audience for it because I'm so well versed in the subject matter of the source material that I knew huge portions of the plot without even needing to even watch the movie, like at all. But it wasn't an awful movie. It was just a a really it was kind of boring, really, in a weird way. It was. I know I say that it's boring, it's boring, it's boring, it's boring, but it was boring. And the actors just and the actress they tried very hard. They did try very hard, but they I feel like the main problem the movie had was that the actors and actresses weren't that great at what they did, and the script just kind of was boring. It was kind of like a intro to Lovecraft by someone who's never actually read anything by Lovecraft, or never read much anything, or read only a few short things, or something like that. Or just, I also felt like they didn't really know enough about the deep sea to do the deep sea scenes. Because I know, and I've never been to sea, despite looking like the captain of a ship I've never been to sea one time in my life, and never will be to sea in one time in my life unless I have to be. That when you go down that deep, you can't have big windows. Period. No matter what they're made of, you can't have that because it's too much pressure. And their sea rover was like the pilot cab of a John Deere tractor that had been made up to look like a I don't know what, but it was not a deep sea rover because deep sea rovers don't have windows the size of the computer screen. We don't have tons of windows on every surface like that, unless they're meant to go like way less deep than that. I mean, because at one point in the movie they were in like a million, bazillion, vajillion, Cthulhu feet down into water, and you just, when you go that deep, everything has to be huge metal walls, or your ship collapses immediately, like instantly, like game over. Period. Period. Like, so on the whole, acting 4 flushes, special and practical effects 3 flushes, plot 4 flushes, cinematography 4 flushes. So, all in all, one of the worst movies out there that's about the sea and about Cthulhu. I mean, because I'm not going to spoil it for you, but spoiler alert: tentacle monsters are involved in the plot, and this is not a Japanese hentai. So, it's bad. It's really bad. It's far worse than I imagined. It's like set phasers on Obliterate. This shit is awful. I mean, but it has some good parts. It has a few select moments where things are not just pitifully bad. But it also has a lot more parts where things are pitifully bad. I'll include a link to it, and I am doing this as a request, so you'll see 2 links. One is to the requestor, and one is to the movie itself. I'll leave it to you to try to figure out which one is which.